Hi, and welcome to Six Figure Signature Offers, the place female founders come to create businesses that deliver both peace and profit. I'm your host, Robin Birkin, online business strategist. I built my first six-figure business with a baby and a toddler working just 6 hours per week. And I grew it to multi-six figures, more than 1 million podcast downloads and 1,500 clients before returning to my true expertise and growing this business to multi-six figures in less than 15 months, all in part-time hours. The one secret weapon that's fueled both businesses? A hero signature offer. The kind of offer that turns you from just another face in your niche to the authority, makes content creation 10 times easier, and powers rinse and repeat launches with big pockets of freedom in between. My mission is simple: to help you create a scalable business model that lets you work less, earn more, and build the kind of business that actually feels good to run. So if you've ever wondered how to create easeful yet wildly successful launches, how to get off the revenue roller coaster, or how to juggle being a present parent and the breadwinning CEO, sit back, subscribe. I am so happy to have you here. Let's go. Hi, and welcome to Six Figure Signature Offers. I'm so excited that you're here. I know that I say that every week, but I really am, and I do appreciate the time that you invest into chatting with me. Now, I feel like the last 3 episodes have been absolute whoppers. So I'm going to be short, sharp, and to the point in today's episode. And I'm going to speak to 6 things that are the secret to consistent 5-figure launches, even if you have, and especially if you have no time. And many of these are things that it's almost like nobody talks about, but that are actually the most successful people are doing that you probably aren't. And in private containers, so obviously I have myself and my clients, I have the containers I'm part of, so my mastermind, I have like friends and people, colleagues in my network. These are the things that successful people are doing. And if you want to dive deeper into any of these topics, that's why we should work together, either in scalable signature, or if you are already at 5+ K per month, you would be considered for the Peace and Profit Mastermind. These are the kind of things that we would work together with you. And these are the kind of things that A-grade players are doing behind the scenes. So if you want consistent 5 and even 6-figure launches, these are some of the things that you may be missing. Some of these are more at the beginner stages, and some of these are more at, like advanced stages. So depending on where you are on your level of knowledge, you may be like, oh yeah, I know about this, and then not to other things. But if you want to have big launches, if you've got less time, if you want things in your business to feel really predictable and low lift, outside of offer strategy, right, and creating offers that are irresistible, fly off the shelves, that have profit potential, outside of that lens, in terms of like launches and launch strategy, here's how you make the big bucks, okay? So number 1 is pre-launch persuasion. So when you are in pre-launch, and so many people leave pre-launch to the very, very last minute, they don't execute it properly, they don't plan and strategize it properly. Your pre-launch is more important than pretty much your cart open. You want your audience to, number 1, as obsessed with you as they are on your offer, but we want your audience to really understand the problem that they have and why it is actually really urgent that they solve it and why they are motivated to do that. So the messaging, the language, the visibility, and everything that you have within your pre-launch needs to be so strategic and be setting everybody up for what you have next. When you do this repeatedly, you get better and better and better. You understand your audience so much more, but really having care and attention to your pre-launch and specifically your pre-launch persuasion, I call it. We want people to be, for want of a better word, indoctrinated into your way of thinking and your movement and into the like messaging that you have around the problem and the solution. So making sure that that pre-launch is executed really elegantly. Number 2, setting up some opportunities for pre-sale. So whether that is a wait list or whether you have some behind the scenes shoulder taps that enable sales to happen behind the scenes, that is not only going to help you have consistent 5 and 6 figure launches, but you are going to go into the launch proper, having had those opportunities for behind the scenes pre-sales, feeling like you're going to go into your webinar feeling $1 million because you already have sales and runs on the board. You already know that you've made profit from this offer. So looking at your waitlist strategy, making that a really hot waitlist strategy, making sure that you potentially also have invitations for people to purchase before the doors open in other ways is going to also set you up for future sales. And not everyone on the wait list or in other invitations is going to buy through that moment. They may buy then through the cart open, but you best believe that when you send those invitations, people's ears are going to prick. The next one is conversations. This is something that I didn't really ever prioritize in my business when I was a life coach. So I had a life coaching program, sold for about $497, launched once a quarter. I loved this program and I loved this business. But something I didn't do that possibly even would have doubled my sales and success in that business was engage in more conversations. Now, I say this with a bit of a caveat. I regularly used to engage and speak to my audience. I used to have email sequences that would invite two-way conversations, and people would be emailing me constantly with details of their journey, etc. I would be holding Q&As on my Instagram stories once a week. So in many ways, I did engage in conversations. But what I would also be doing in this market, what I also do in this market, is actively build conversations, whether that's opportunities for people to get on the phone or calls with me to ask questions about my offers. I very much am open to, if someone says, could we jump on a quick call? I'm very much of the mindset of yes, not like, can I pick your brain, but considering joining your offer and I want to know if that's right for me. While I primarily sell to people in the Peace and Profit Mastermind in DMs on Instagram, I'm always available. If someone wants to jump on a call and have a back and forth, I will always make time for that. But I also actively will be having conversations with my warm audience in the DMs and initiating that. So there's this big thing that goes around the internet of like, oh no, we don't send cold, sleazy DMs. Yeah, but they're sending DMs to warm people. And I never put 2 and 2 together. And the people who are making the most sales are the people who are having conversations with others. And you can think whatever you like about that. But if someone is looking for mentorship, they're going to go with the person who they're having conversations with, who is top of mind, who is moving them through that funnel and activating them, through the DMs. So if you want consistent 5 and 6 figure launches, really start opening up the two-way communication. So not only through, more passive type things. So Instagram story Q&As, inviting comments on your posts, having emails within nurture sequences that start people having a conversation with you, but actively initiating conversations with your warmest audience in the DMs. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, which I think is just so important, is consistency/repetition. So I 100% mean consistency in emailing your list, showing up on Instagram, showing your face and speaking to camera on Instagram. But I also mean in your launching and offers. So if you are launching the same offer again and again and again and improving and iterating that offer rather than throwing the baby out with the bathwater, or potentially, only launching again in a year and just not being able to get that faster feedback on what is and isn't working. But it's also, like I said in, one of the other episodes this month, Your audience has a longer runway to buy right now. So if in your first launch you have your conversion events, whatever it is, and you get them 50% kind of like sold in and ready to join your offer, the next launch you get them 75% sold and ready to join your offer. You need to be launching like 3 times to get them the whole way over the line, potentially even more. So you will have people in your launch who have been on your list and considering your offer for years. So if you are launching super infrequently, or if you keep changing and shifting your offers, you're kind of like getting people halfway there or getting halfway up the hill and then walking all the way down instead of continuing to walk up the top of the hill to get down the other side. So having that consistency in, number one, showing up for your audience regularly, and also launching the same offers regularly is going to be one of the consistent ways that you will reach 5 and 6 figures in your business, not only because of moving your audience forward, but also in the data that you get back about what is and isn't working about that launch program. You don't want to be like, let's say you inherently have a problem with some of the messaging on your offer or some of the way in which you pitch your offer, and then you throw the baby out with the bathwater and you go, okay, well, I did a webinar last time and it didn't work. Now I'm going to do a challenge on a different topic or whatever. Or I did the webinar on this topic. Now I'm going to change the topic and do a webinar on this topic. You're not necessarily fixing what was wrong with the product or the launch mechanism or whatever it is. You're just carrying that across into the next thing that you try that doesn't work. So in showing up consistently for your audience, but also having the repetition of the same things that you improve, look at the data, improve, have that repetition for your audience as well. That's where you are also going to really get dialed in on your conversions and enable 5 and 6 figure launches, especially if you have no time. Because if you're constantly creating new things, let's try this new webinar, let's try this, you are literally sat in creation and content burnout and launch burnout all of the time. The best strategy is a rinse and repeat system. We can put some bells and whistles on that system and, in that launch process, tweak little things like the title or the angle or whatever. But by and large, if you are rolling out the same thing that you dial in that works again and again and again, it's going to free up your time to be having conversations, to be doing other things. So really investing your time wisely in repetition rather than always throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Number 5 is low lift sales. Again, this is kind of similar to pre-sales. And sometimes people will be like, oh, that doesn't count, because it definitely counts. But are you reaching out to past clients? Are you reaching out to current clients because they might be a really great fit for a particular group offer that you have or an accelerator? Are you reaching out to discovery calls that didn't convert? I call these low lift sales. Are you regularly engaging and sending invitations to people to come back and work with you? Because I can tell you right now, I have a number of people in Scalable Signature Society and in the mastermind who have gone away for some time and then come back. I have a number of people who have had discovery calls and conversations with me that then come back. Those are really low lift sales. And the current clients that you have, they know you, they trust you, they hopefully like you, they are possibly indoctrinated already into the messaging that you promote. They are low lift sales. So really potentially, and even in the pre-sale period, inviting them to be part of that and really making them feel special about it can be some of the easiest sales you make in your life. Which brings me to my last point. And this is something that is one of the biggest things that will generate your success in business. If you look at the top players in your niche, it is something they're probably really good at. And it is also something that when people launch, you might be an incredible service provider. You might have the most engaged audience on Instagram, but there inevitably comes a time or a point for almost all business owners when the existing pool of leads that you have is just not enough. Most people vastly underestimate the quantity of new leads required in order to make the sales that they need. So let me ask you this question. If you wish to make $100,000 on your next launch and you have a 2% conversion rate and your offer, let's say it's $5,000, that means you need 10 sales. So having a look at the leads that you need, in order to make 10 sales. So let's do the math together and let me ask you this question, and hopefully we're going to have a bit of an aha moment here. So let's say that you want a $50,000 launch. Basic maths, if you have 4 $50,000 launches per year, you will have a $200,000 business. And if you have a 50% profit margin, you get to pay yourself a $100,000 wage. So let's go with $50,000. It's a great goal to have. So let's say that the price of your offer is $2,500. So $50,000 divided by $2,500 equals 20 sales. So you need to make in your launch 20 sales. That means that at a 2% conversion rate, you need 1,000 live launch new leads into your pipeline each quarter. So many of you wish to make 20 sales of your offer. Cool. Do you have 1,000 new leads coming into your list every quarter in association with your launch? So not just any leads, we want them to be primed leads. And typically what I would say if you have an existing email list is you can expect between 10 and 20% of your existing list to be engaged in any particular launch. What is your plan to have that? The next thing that I will say is that is not as hard or complicated as it needs to be. So if you are looking at me, if you are looking at your goals for 2026, and one of the goals is that you want $200,000 in the year, if you strip everything back, one of the most pivotal things that you can do in order to reach that revenue goal is urgently prioritize list building in your business. And learning that skill is a skill that never goes old. It is literally the secret to how I dominated as a life coach in my last niche and how I built this business to multiple 6 figures in just 15 months. List building. It needs to be an urgent priority in your business. And when you list build with ads and the authority framework that we teach, you get to do that in so much less time. It gets to be really hands off, really formulaic, and you can dial in exactly what it is that needs to happen in order to reach your revenue goals. You may be listening to this though and you're like, yeah, I know it. I know I need to do ads. I know I need to prioritize list building, but you actually never get around to it. And if that is you, Black Friday, check out the next episode all about my offers. We are doing a live leads sprint. It is going to be part of Scalable Signature. When you join Scalable Signature, it is a 12-month group program where together we will create and launch your 6-figure signature offer. We will get you to that point of having a beautiful one-to-many business. We work not just on your launches, but we really also work on positioning you as an authority in your niche and creating the volume of leads that you need. So if you want to learn all about exactly what we're doing for Black Friday, how it's all going to work, because it is a bit of an event, but you are like, yes, I would love some support for, 2026 or starting, in December, and, really want to dial in my launches, dial in my one-to-many program, and know that leads are a priority for you as well, whether that's immediately or, like halfway through the year, whatever that is, you're going to want to be part of it. Check out the next episode, and I cannot wait to speak to you then.